So I played with a few of the different manipulatives from online on my school computer, but home on my laptop I don't have the Java to use them. So I actually made one in Notebook, which I thought would be interesting to give it a try. In school we use the Notebook with our kids in the smart boards, so I thought it'd be kind of cool because I could use this with the kids in school as well. So to start with, I made different colors. So I have green is positive and the red is the negative. So if we have something such as 2, 2 green chips would represent that number. And then at the same time, if we would have it its opposite, and I had a negative 2, I could represent that as well with 2 red chips. So what I'm going to do with the different chips and colors is use them to show how we can create additive inverses, which is when we add the opposite and a number to create 0. So here if we were to add 2 and negative 2, we would have 2 green chips and 2 red chips. But because each red and green cancels each other out, they actually go away, and we're left with nothing, or 0. And so here, 2 and negative 2 are additive inverses because they are also opposites. So we could try this with a few different problems. Put this back here. So we could start with 2 plus 4. Now both numbers are positive, so both will be represented by green chips. And we'll start with 2 greens plus 4 greens. And so we would have the children count them, and we would end up with 6. These are the basic, pretty simple ones. The ones that I thought were a little cool, so we'll then add fix this and put it back. So now if we try and mix it up a little bit, so instead of using our basics, we will now try something a little bit harder. And so let's go with negative 2 plus negative 4. Or let's go negative 3 and change it up a little bit. So if we have negative 2 and negative 3, still basic but a little different. So the kids will have, I have negative 2, so we'll represent that with 2 red chips. And negative 3, I'll represent that with 3 red chips. So altogether I have 5 red chips, which would give us negative 5. Once again, a little basic, but changing it up and using a different chip here. We can also mix with the different chips, so if we'll put these back. So now we could try something such as 4 plus negative 4. So now if we see here the two numbers are opposite, I have positive 4 and its opposite negative 4. So we'll start with positive 4 would be represented by 4 green chips. Then we'll have negative 4, which will be represented by 4 red chips. But as we know, because a green and a red they are opposites, one is positive, one is negative, we can combine them together and they will cancel out. So those will cancel. These will also cancel. And this last one will also cancel. And if you'll see, we are left with nothing here. And so we know that is 0. This is true because 4 and negative 4 are opposites, and adding opposites would be an additive inverse. Put this back here. Now we can try something a little different. And we'll add 4 plus -3. And so we'll represent the 4 here with 4 green chips. And I will represent the -3 with 3 red chips. So now the numbers are not opposite, so they're not additive inverses and we won't get 0, but we can work similarly where I'm going to match the positive with the negative. And we will see that these 3 pairs will cancel out and they go away because they are 0 when they add up to combine together. And all we're left with is 1 green chip, which represents positives, so our answer is 1. We can also try this a little bit another way, change it up a tiny bit. And now I will try 4 plus -6. So once again, the numbers are not opposites, and so we are going to need to figure out which go together and see what we have left. So let's start with 4 greens for our 4 positive. Next, I'll have my 6 negatives, and so we'll have 6 red chips. Alright, and so now we have 4 green chips and 6 red chips, so 4 positives, 6 negatives. We'll combine together the similar, when they go together, make our pair, so I have a red and a green, a red and a green, red and a green, red and a green, and we're left with 2 reds, which is 2 negatives, so I'll be left with a -2. Because these go away and all we have left is the 2 reds. So even with changing the second number to be larger or smaller, we can still use the same way. Now we're going to try one more. We can do this with different word problems, real life scenarios, and so okay, finish cleaning this up. We can use this in situations saying we're talking to our kids and you have 3 cookies. You have to give away, or we could even say your mother is taking away 2 of the cookies. So we're going to have a -2. So I have my 3 positives, the 3 cookies that already exist. I have my 2 negatives, the 2 my mom is taking away. So we're going to make our pairs here. These will cancel as a green and a red make 0, as they are opposites and additive inverses, 1 and -1. And all we're left with is 1 green or 1 positive, and so all I'm left with is 1 cookie. Now we could use this with larger numbers as well. If we think about kids, you have $12 and you make $17, and we could put our chips together and see that. Alright, let's try another one. Just finish putting these back. Another one we could try, we could do -3 plus 1. Now we have the negative number first, but it won't change any of our process. We're still going to start, so I have 3 negatives or 3 reds. Now I have 1 positive or 1 green. And so what we're going to do is, we know that a red and a green are opposites or additive inverses. So what we're going to do is pair them together, and we know that they cancel out. and so those will go away. And all I'm left with is 2 reds or 2 negatives. And so we know our answer is -2. We could try this one last problem. Clean this up a little bit. All right. So now we could do -1 plus 4. And so to start, we have our 1 negative or 1 red chip, and I have 4 greens or 4 positives. Now we know that a red and a green is -1 and +1. They are opposites or additive inverses and equal 0, so they will cancel out and go away. Oops. And all we're left with is 3 greens or 3 positives, and so our answer is 3. Alright, well, I guess that's all for now. I hope this wasn't too horrible of a video as it was my first, and talk to you guys later.